In this video, you are going to learn about the best in-ear monitor systems for church worship ministries. We are going to cover why your band needs in-ear monitors, the pros and cons of the most popular in-ear monitor solutions, and our recommendations for in-ear headphones. After watching, you'll know exactly what gear and strategy you'll need in order to implement in-ear monitors at your church. Coming up. My name is Ashton Turner with churchfront.com, helping you lead gospel-centered and tech-savvy worship. Thanks for joining me for this video. Buckle up, because I'm going to drop a lot of knowledge on your ears. In your ears. We're talking about in-ear monitors. But first, if you want to learn more about implementing the latest tech in your ministry, I want to invite you to check out Worship Tech School, where we have courses on how to implement the latest audio, video, lighting, and more for your worship ministry. So click the link down in the description to learn more. What type of in-ear monitor system and headphones do you use at your church? We always love hearing and learning from you guys, so join the conversation down below in the comments. Before diving into the details of in-ear monitors, you first need to consider the type of mixing console you are using at your church. While it's not impossible to implement the systems I'm going to cover in this video with an analog mixer, I highly recommend that your church invests in a digital mixer and companion digital stage box, because in the end, it will make it way easier and cost-effective to implement an in-ear monitor system. The Behringer X32, the Midas M32, the PreSonus Studio Live Series, or the Allen & Heath SQ series are great options for small to mid-sized churches. You can implement any of the in-ear monitor systems we are about to cover here with those mixing consoles and stage boxes. So you've got a digital mixer, but you're wondering what the point of in-ear monitors is. If you have any intention of ever running a click and tracks for worship, you have to get in-ear monitors. There simply is not another option. You can't really run a click through floor wedges. In-ear monitors also reduce stage volume, so it's easier for your sound engineer to build a crystal clear mix for your congregation. Implementing in-ear monitors and running a click and tracks in worship will help your band sound significantly better. And you'll even have the capability to start automating lyrics and lighting with software like Ableton Live. And that's why we nerd out about in-ear monitors. But what are the best ways to go about implementing them? Well, you have four options. Option number one is the headphone amplifier. Headphone amps are the first and probably the most affordable way to go. You take an XLR out of a return channel on your stage box, plug it into the headphone amp, and plug headphones in. It's as easy as that. At our church, the drummer and I use the Behringer P1 headphone amp. It has a few mixing options on the amp. It can run a stereo mix, which is great for piano and the drums, and it's relatively inexpensive. You can pick one up for about $50. Since we run stereo, both myself and our drummer are using two mix bus outputs from our stage box. The only downside of this headphone amp is that it limits movement and requires power, but you can use a power adapter or 9-volt batteries to power it. But if you are like me, you're gonna burn through batteries when you forget to turn it off every single week. Our other recommendation for a headphone amp is the Behringer P2. So we use this for simple mono mixes, and it's a great deal, coming in at around $30. The P2 does require battery power, so if you want to get a more passive solution that doesn't require batteries, the Behringer PM1 is something you should definitely check out. The headphone amplifier setup is affordable and reliable, but the major downside is you'll have an additional cable to worry about. We find this setup works great for musicians who are mostly stationary during worship, including the drummer, guitarists, and keyboardists. But it still works great for worship leaders and vocalists, but you just want to be careful as you move about the stage. The best way to control your in-ear mix with this system is with the companion app that works with your digital mixing console. Option number two is a wireless in-ear monitor system. So speaking of freedom to move about the stage, your next option is a wireless in-ear monitor system. And this setup is super simple. You have a transmitter sending your monitor mix from your mixing console or stage box, and a receiver that clips onto your back pocket. Plug headphones in your receiver, and voila, you can hear your mix with no cables. This allows for way more mobility on stage, and it looks a lot nicer because there aren't any headphone extension cables on stage. But It is wireless, so it's obviously going to be a little bit more expensive. At church, Jake and our other lead vocalist use the Sennheiser EW wireless system, and it works wonderfully. You can pick up a transmitter with 2 receiver packs for around $1,200. And since we have 2 receivers for 1 transmitter, each receiver is getting a mono signal. So this is a great hack when purchasing wireless in-ears. Someday, when we record a best-selling worship album, we'll upgrade to stereo wireless systems for everyone, but it is not entirely necessary. Another option is the Shure PSM 300s. We haven't had a chance to get our hands on this monitor system, but from doing some research, it really does seem like a great alternative at a similar price point to the Sennheiser EW system. And then finally, for a super budget option, you should check out Audiofusion's AWM630 wireless in-ear system. It is a serious mouthful, but you can pick this system up for only $150 for 1 receiver and the transmitter, but there are options for up to 4 receivers for your band. It is a cheaper option, so the quality in sound and in durability will inevitably be less than Sennheiser or Shure, but we did get to try it out, and honestly, it really did hold its own against these other systems. We did have a few issues with it being a little staticky, and there were no signal dropouts, but it didn't sound amazing, but it definitely did not sound bad. So compared to the Sennheiser and Shure systems, if you want to get started with in-ear monitors very cheaply, this is definitely a very viable option. So wireless in-ear monitor systems are our favorite setup. It really does give you the freedom to move about the stage while maintaining a high quality and low latency signal. The best way to control these monitors is from your mobile app that controls monitor mixes on your digital mixing console. Option number 3 is digital personal mixers. So this system works by sending digital audio to personal mixing devices that your musicians can control. They'll plug their headphones into the device and hear a high quality stereo mix. Then you'll connect these mixers to your front of house mixing console or stage boxes using an Ethernet cable. Since everything is digital, each mixer can generate its own unique mix. With this system, you can daisy chain as many personal mixers as you want together, so only one has to be connected to your stage box. Really, the only downside of this setup is that they really don't look that great. If you are a worship leader and you're at the front of the stage, you probably don't want to have a mixer sitting right there. It's like the music stand debate. A cleaner setup with less stage noise will look better and cause less distractions than a stage filled with cables and personal mixers. Yet this option is great because it allows for each band member to very quickly access their own mix and have greater control over said mix. They don't need a companion app on their phone, and it's also great for a more permanent setup. You don't have to charge batteries, nor do you have to plug anything in on any given rehearsal or Sunday. You just plug your headphones in and you have your in-ear mix. The model of personal mixer that you choose really depends on which type of mixing console your church uses. If you have a Behringer or Midas mixer, then you want to use the Behringer P16 personal mixers. If you use the Allen & Heath SQ series, then you want to use the Allen & Heath ME personal mixer. The Behringer P16 has the ability to control 16 different channels with EQ, panning, solo, and mute functions. This is pretty standard when it comes to personal mixers, and it's the cheapest one out there without sacrificing the quality of the mixer's ability or its sound. The Allen & Heath ME1 allows for up to 40 channels and the ME500 up to 16, and both work very fluidly with any Allen & Heath digital mixer. You do have more control over the sound of your mix, and in my opinion, these personal mixers just look better, but they are much more expensive. We really think that digital personal mixers are great if you prefer to have the additional piece of hardware for controlling your mix and you don't mind the look of them on your stage. We also think these are ideal for stationary musicians who don't really need to move around the stage that much. The last option is the Audiofusion system. There's a really good chance that you've seen Jake's videos on the Audiofusion system, and if you want to see exactly what it's like, you should check out his videos on it. But the gist of the system is that you can have a 16-channel monitor mix placed straight from your iPhone. Sounds too good to be true, right? Yet it works surprisingly well considering that all of the audio is being sent over Wi-Fi. The mixer sends the signal to a Mac running the Soundcaster app, and then that Mac sends the signal to the iPhone over Wi-Fi, and then you just plug headphones into your iPhone. It's a pretty smooth system, and for only $100 per band member, it's actually surprisingly affordable. We actually don't use this system at the moment, and that's mainly because setting it up each week was pretty inefficient for our workflow, and it worked great about about 90% of the time when Jake used it. We did try every configuration under the sun with our wireless router, but it never seemed to work perfectly. Whenever we tried putting other band members on the system, it just really didn't work out. Yet we still do list this system as a recommended option because we've heard of it working perfectly for many other worship ministries who are able to get their wireless network dialed in, and it works great for their entire worship team. If your entire worship band has iPhones and you like to experiment with new tech, we do recommend at least trying it out by using the trial mode of the software. So those are the best solutions for in-ear monitor systems. And the best part is that as you build a system for your team, you can combine these different approaches. At our church, our worship leaders use wireless in-ear monitors while the remainder of the band uses headphone amps plugged into the stage box. What you need really depends on your context and your budget, but it's entirely possible to do these things without spending a ton of money up front or even at all. So now the question is, what headphones should you use? You've spent all this time looking into what system works best for your context, but your system is only going to be as good as the headphones that you are using. So let me break down some of the best options for headphones. Our favorite recommendations for workhorse headphones are the Shure SE215s. They are sound isolating with a single dynamic micro driver, which means that they sound great for how much they cost. They really do have a very balanced sound and are a pretty good starting point for anyone looking to get into in-ears. If you need a cheaper option, then check out the KZ line of headphones, ranging anywhere from $20 to $60. If your band has a lot of volunteers or you are just wanting to try in-ear monitors, then these headphones work really great. They're super cheap, but sound quality is not sacrificed, and odds are your volunteers are not audiophiles and really may not require the perfect sound that something like custom in-ear monitors would give them. So these headphones can really get the job done for that context, and for $20, you can always easily upgrade later. On the more pricey and premium side of headphones, you can always get custom in-ear monitors. So Jake has a pair of custom all-clear monitors that are custom molded to his ears, and they are the RSM Quad Driver model. All-Clear's website actually describes these as the sonic equivalent to sitting on a mountaintop on a crystal clear spring day with perfect views of the valleys and peaks beyond. And well, that's because they are. These monitors have an extremely balanced sound that will allow you to pick out every single instrument in the mix. If you are super serious about getting nice monitors, then these are definitely the way to go. They are custom molded to your ears, so they are perfectly comfortable and they sound amazing. But obviously with high-end quality comes a greater price tag, and right now they are running for $650 on All-Clear's website. The other custom route that you can go is with the 64 Customs. So the 4-driver comparable to the RSMs are $1,000, and they do have a slightly greater focus on lows and high mids. What sets these apart from All-Clear is the TIA technology, which they describe as a tubeless driver system that delivers the frequencies to your ears a little bit more naturally. And then they do have an Apex system, which they describe as relieving a lot of the air pressure that happens in noise isolating headphones to kind of help your ears with listening fatigue. Jake really does love his All-Clairs, but both are very valid options, and you can definitely do some research on your own to determine which price point and company works best for your situation. Both brands do have a lot of options, some cheaper and some more expensive, that you can definitely take a look into for yourself. But that is it. That is the ultimate guide to in-ears in 2019. There are so many options and choices when it comes to monitor systems and headphones that it's easy to get analysis paralysis. Our most important advice for you is to take action and be willing to alter your setup as you go along. Once you have in-ear monitoring, your band will be able to implement a click and tracks and even start automating lyrics and lighting in worship. All of these options I laid out for you will help you to get started as you go about implementing in-ear monitors into your worship ministry. So please do let us know what questions you have about in-ear monitors down below in the comments. If you want to learn more about implementing the latest tech in your ministry, I want to invite you to check out Worship Tech School, where we have courses on how to implement the latest audio, video, lighting, and more for your worship ministry. So click the link down in the description to learn more. Thanks so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please do leave a like down below and share it with your friends in worship ministry. You can check out more related content right over there, and don't forget to subscribe so you never miss any of our latest content to help you grow yourself and grow your worship ministry.